Well, Israel accuses Iran of seeking to obtain nuclear weapons despite a nuclear deal between Tehran and the P5+1. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said even after signing the nuclear deal, Iran has not, quote, relinquished its ambition to obtain nuclear weapons. US Republican House Speaker Paul Ryan also slammed the nuclear deal and said American lawmakers will do everything possible to prevent Iran from getting an atomic bomb. US Democratic presidential hopeful Hillary Clinton said if she wins the election in November, her approach to Iran will be to distrust and verify. She accused Iran of violating the UN resolution regarding its ballistic missile program. Clinton, along with Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal, urged the US to enforce sanctions against Iran over its recent ballistic missile tests. The comments come shortly after nuclear-related sanctions against Iran were formally lifted. To get more insight into this story, we're joined from San Francisco by Richard Becker with the Answer Coalition. Thank you, Richard, for joining us here on Press TV. What do you think about these animosity coming from some US officials and obviously Israel, who was against this nuclear deal from the very offstart, regarding Iran's nuclear program?
Well, it's clear, and it has been clear all along, that the choices were either to have a negotiated settlement or turn in the direction of a new war against Iran. And I think that's the context in which we have to see the comments from people like Hillary Clinton and Richard Blumenthal, as well as the whole range just about of Republican, all the leading Republican candidates have all taken this position. And as you said, along with Netanyahu and the Israeli government. And is that really anything that people in this country, in Iran, in the entire Middle East, in the entire world want? Is yet another war in the Middle East after seeing the havoc and the destruction that we've witnessed in Iraq and in Libya, in Yemen, and of course in Syria. And but that's the position. Those who are criticizing this agreement are really warmongers. They're really for new war, another war, yet another war in the Middle East.
Well, how would this benefit, Richard, given that you're talking about all the devastations that wars do have? How is this going to benefit any country, including all these countries who were against the nuclear deal, including Saudi Arabia here as well?
Well, they are opposed to any normalization of relations between the United States and Iran because they believe that can also lead to a shift in relations, a larger shift in relations in the region. Saudi Arabia has been a special project of the United States. The United States has protected Saudi Arabia and the Saudi royal family, this extremely corrupt band, for many, many decades. The United States, of course, has its special strategic relationship with the State of Israel. And those may be coming to into a different period, and that the agreement between the United States and Iran and the P5+1 and Iran can be seen as shifting. And of course, Iran is a country that is a very large country, large in population, with great natural resources and large territory and so forth. And so you can see why, even from their own narrow point of view, that some of the governments in the West want to change the relationship, and particularly in regard to the United States government and any change that it would have. This is regarded by the leaders in Israel and Saudi Arabia as potentially dangerous to their interests.
And Richard, very briefly, if you may, now focusing on the US political scene right now, we have the Republican frontrunner Donald Trump saying that he wants to ban Muslims. We have Hillary Clinton, the Democratic frontrunner, saying that she will, if elected as president, she will impose more sanctions on Iran. Is that the rhetoric that we're supposed to be getting from a Democrat?
Well, you know, it's very interesting. It's the presidential election in the United States is the most grotesque in history. And of course, the Republican candidates have led the way in that. But I don't think that we can forget for a moment that Hillary Clinton voted for the war in Iraq, that Hillary Clinton was the single individual in the Obama administration who was the most aggressive for military action that led to the destruction of Libya. And the same thing goes with intervention in Syria. So I think it's just an illusion to believe that Hillary is not a warlike, would not be as warlike a president as those who have come before her.
An absolute pleasure to talk to you, Richard Becker with the Answer Coalition, joining us from San Francisco.